Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about the economy of NGS and has Sega royally screwed it over. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Now before we dive into the prices, this is my Ship 4 character and I specifically chose Ship 4 because the prices on Ship 4 are going to be higher than all of the other ships simply because of supply and demand. Since there's less players on Ship 4, there is less supply and thus the prices tend to be a little bit higher. However, another reason why I picked my Ship 4 character specifically is because my Ship 4 character is not premium. For those who don't know, I have two separate accounts. I've got the main account, which is the Ship 2 account, which is Ship 1, 2, and 3 actually. They're all in the same account. And they all have premium because I am an official NGS creator. However, my Ship 4 character is a totally different account which does not benefit from all of the creator rewards as well as the free premium every single month. So I feel like by using my Ship 4 character, it's a little bit more relatable since I don't have premium, I don't have access to the market whenever I want, and I need to rely on those 3-day shop passes to get any money made. But with that disclaimer out of the way, let us look at the Dreadkeeper market. We are down to 70,000 on Ship 4. Now on Ship 2, this is even lower. On Ship 2, we are down to 30,000 per Dreadkeeper 4. And that's obviously because there's a lot more players farming in Ship 2 and there's a lot less demand for Dreadkeeper 4s. But Dreadkeeper 4s used to be 400,000 on Ship 4. They're between 250 to 300,000 on Ship 2. Well, the prices of these have plummeted drastically based off two factors. The first one, and probably the biggest reason, is of course the giant mutants. Having the giant mutants move to Drazen Plant, a lot more people are farming there because they like Drazen Plant. Drazen Plant has always been a very good place to farm for veteran enemies. So they're farming for veterans, they're killing giant mutants, and thus they get a lot of Dreadkeeper 4s, and it's flooding the market, which results in the price of this capsule going down. Now the second factor is the Geometric Labyrinth rank 2. When you're farming there, you're going to get quite a bit of Dreadkeeper 4s. If you're able to maintain the S rank and farm consistently and efficiently, you will end up with a lot of Dreadkeeper 4s, and thus there's a huge surge in supply. Everyone's running the new content because it's the new hot thing to do, and thus the prices of Dreadkeeper 4 is an absolute free fall. However, it doesn't end there. There is the Stia Domina. Stia Domina used to be between 200 to 300,000 Meseta, and this has also dropped all the way down to 69,000 to 70,000, 75,000. You know, it's between the 70 to 80,000 range right now, but nevertheless, it has decreased in price significantly. And again, the reason for the price drop is simply because these items are so easily and readily farmable through the giant mutants because you get a bunch of notes which you can craft the Stia Dominas, but on top of that, if you can get S rank in the Geometric Labyrinth rank 2, you also get a ton of Dominas as well. Now you might not get the Stia Domina specifically, but you get the Kavars Domina, the Red Domina, the Ale Domina, as well as the Stia Domina, so it's a toss up there, but if you farm it enough, you get a ton of Dominas overall. And now since everyone is being showered with Dominas, even the Covenant Howl Finale is now dropping in price. This used to be 4 million, we've already slashed the price in half in a matter of days. So we're currently looking at 2.1 million for the Howl Finales right now, and I suspect that these prices are only gonna go lower. So as you can see, there's a trend over here where all of these really rare, powerful, and expensive augments are now becoming very easily obtainable, which results in the prices going down. So as a regular player, you guys should be happy, right? Yay, we can finally upgrade all our gear, we can get all of these powerful augments, get even stronger, get even more powerful, and life is good, right? Not really, because these capsules over here used to be our bread and butter on how we generated Meseta as a free-to-play player. I still remember I farmed a crap ton of Dreadkeeper 4s back when they were worth 250 to 300,000, and I made a killing by selling Dreadkeeper 4s. The reason for this was because no one was farming for Dreadkeeper 4s, and Dreadkeeper 4s didn't drop like candy. So now we can get to the meat and potatoes of today's video, and that is, did Sega absolutely kill the market? And the answer is sort of, yeah, they did, because they made all these items super easily obtainable. So as a free-to-play player, your options to make Meseta has become very, very limited. If you don't scratch at all, if you don't spend any money and do the AC scratches, The only way to make Meseta right now is to farm for super crazy rare items. So for example, the weapon camos that drop from the giant mutants, but we're talking about like 0.0000001% chance of dropping those. I haven't seen like anyone get that. I've seen like one person on Twitter get like the Holy Ray as well as the other one that drops from the Wolin. But you know, we're talking about thousands of people farming for several hours a day, and there's 1 or 2 people that's gotten it. It's extremely rare. So yeah, you can try to farm for that and hope you hit the jackpot and make a couple million through that. But other than that, your only sources of Meseta is probably collecting all your alpha reactors or your valuables every single day, farming for PSE bursts just for raw Meseta, maybe even farming for gigantics for the Gigas capsules maybe, or you might as well just farm the geometric labyrinth rank 2 for that, because remember the Gigas capsule level 4s also dropped there. But yeah, as a free-to-play player, you really don't have many options to make a ton of Meseta anymore because everything is so readily available. Now, do I think Sega made the right move over here? I'm personally on the fence. I think it's a mixed bag, because if I'm a new player or if I'm a progressing player and I'm still got stuff to upgrade, I think this is amazing because I don't need to depend on the marketplace. I don't need to spend my hard-earned Meseta on all of these very expensive capsules, which will only give me like a 1% DPS upgrade. Instead, I can spend the time to play the game to farm for all of these capsules, since I know that these items drop fairly often and they're not like ultra rare anymore. So I can slowly but surely build my way up there without having to spend any of my Meseta, and that way I can save all the weekly Meseta that I make, that 800,000, and I can slowly build up and spend all of that solely on fashion items instead of having to split my economy between gear and fashion. So I think Sega is trying to encourage people to try to push people towards more powerful augments, you know, in the 90%, 95%, 100% potency, that sort of range. You know, you don't have to feel pressure to do that because honestly, there's no content in the game that really requires you to have that much potency to min-max to that degree anyway. I think for the average player, if you're at like 65%, 70% potency, you're probably fine for the majority of the content. Sure, you're not going to be hard carrying, but at the very least you can carry your own weight as long as you understand the mechanics and you learn the boss fights and stuff like that. It's not going to be the end of the world. But I am a little bit concerned for the free-to-play players, because now to make Meseta you are limited pretty severely. You used to have a lot of different options, a lot of different activities to farm and to sell these expensive capsules in order to make some money. Sure, it wasn't the most fun thing, but at the very least you knew if you invested X amount of hours, you were guaranteed to make X amount Meseta at the very least. And with the current quote-unquote meta, you're kind of forced into PSE bursting, or you're time gated through your valuables, or you farm geometric labyrinth rank 2 until your brain melts. These are pretty much the only 3 activities that I could think of in order to make Meseta as a free-to-play player, and even then, in order to make the bulk of your Meseta, you still need to pop your 3-day shot pass anyway. So yeah, for the free-to-play players, stay strong. It's gonna be a little bit rough for the next couple weeks, especially with the seasonal event coming in. You know, we're gonna be able to get Dreadkeeper 4s again, Gigas Capsule 4s. I fully expect the Gigas Capsule 4 to crash again because everyone's gonna be able to buy out the event shop. They're going to get Gigas Capsule 4s, and I think a lot of people are probably just going to be preparing for the Slayer class because, you know, the Slayer class looks really good. It actually might be a good idea to take advantage of all the low prices right now to actually build a piece of armor for your Slayer. I would not recommend building a weapon for a Slayer, even though, you know, there's no real reason why you would build a weapon for the Slayer, since you can't have a gunblade now unless you're planning to use a multi-weapon and you're gonna gamble. You know, maybe you build a wired lance and fully augmented it with range capsules, and then that way once the gunblade comes out, you're gonna multi-weapon it together, sort of maybe, but then you're gambling on the weapon series and you're kind of hoping that you do get that weapon series and it's good enough and it's strong enough, sort of like that. So I don't recommend gambling on your weapon, but I do recommend maybe building an armor. You know, the Ajax armors are good. A lot of people skip the Ajax armors because it was too similar to the Ephetus armors. So you could invest in the Ajax armors, buy a bunch of cheap capsules. You know, Ultracreta 4 is really cheap, Dreadkeeper 4 is really cheap. Your Gigastat 4s are going to go down in price next week, and you can kind of just build a relatively budget but very powerful set of armor for your Slayer, so when it does come out, you're ready to rock and roll. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!